The Kate Daly Show.
All right. Now I'm going to clarify and tell you why I said the comment I just said, because I know a lot of feathers will be ruffled when I say women in politics. I'm gonna actually talk about that for just a moment because I want to tell you why I think that. I got Dr. Pesta here. Milty's out today. And I think, men are afraid to say this, but I know this is what they're thinking. I know that many men think this. Okay. But so I'll go ahead and say, because I'm a woman, I can get away with it. And here's the deal. If you go through history, you will find some women in politics. And I want to actually ask people, have you seen where having a woman in politics made such a big difference when it came to our Constitution? If you go back and you really take a hard look, even the Judge Ginsburg, okay, they always say she did everything for women. Go back and look at her career. You will not see that, actually. She was a little tyrant, and she really didn't do that, although she got the label for it. But this is how I feel. I feel like you can go back in history. You can go back 200 years, and you tell me, okay, 150 years, and you tell me what they did, and I will show you that they have been not good in office at all. In fact, kind of horrible in office. And they haven't done anything that is real as far as our freedom goes, or grabbing back any liberty. Because I think when they stopped having constitutionalists in D.C., they prevented anyone that was a constitutionalist from actually going to D.C., male or female. So what they did was they started concentrating on politics, novelty politics, a black man, an Asian man, a woman. They have to go over after all of these certain criteria and get us excited about that, so that we're not asking them, are you a constitutionalist? What do you know about the Constitution? How have you prepared for this job? What do you know about the job? Because it's not about the qualification. It's about the novelty. Okay. Now it's putting ovaries in the White House. Okay. Why? Why is that? Because it won't do anything for us. We're not actually going to be better off because of it. Just like we were not better off after putting Obama in, black man in the White House. We were not better off. He brought in socialized medicine, everything that's horrible, but it's for the novelty. Dr. Pesta, how do you feel about my comments?
Well, I'm a man. I am not least bit unwilling to say the same thing.
Yeah.
And
okay,
so here's
good.
what I think. And here, my 2 cents is this. The reason women don't do well as leaders, especially in the modern world, is because with every day and every month, the world seems to get more dangerous. And you go back to the natural world. There's a reason why male animals have bigger teeth and bigger manes and they run faster, because they are, in most cases, responsible for protecting the weaker women and children from a very violent world. Now, what you're told by the left is that the identity politics monsters, you've been told that women they deserve it. They will do it better. Well, only if the world was a Barbie world, where this was a utopian Marxist Barbie world where nobody had guns and everybody was a vegetarian and there were no hunting anymore. And yeah, right, exactly. If in that kind of a world, a woman would be a perfect leader, because there would be no confrontation, there would be no wolves at the door. Everybody would get along. And the irony of Marxism and progressivism, that world will never exist. Right. And because the world is that way, when you have a particularly dangerous world like we have, it is better to have qualified men than poser creatures like Kamala. Because again, like I said, like you said, for the left, getting the gender, the ovaries in the office, have your party, it's over. Now, you don't even this happened with Obama. Obama was a crappy president. Terrible. He made stupid decisions across the board. But we don't think about that anymore because he was the first black president. And so we pay attention to that.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's all about the novelty of it. So you don't look at, are they capable of doing the job, which would be based on their knowledge of the Constitution, and do they have a backbone to stand for it? We do have a caller. Caller, you got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah. So the media industrial complex, they're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing, and they will get their candidate, their Democratic candidate, into office. We just don't know how. So but it's right in front of our eyes, Kate. And
I don't know. I still think that it's going to turn out different. But
because Donald Trump is their candidate. That's the big secret that we're being distracted away from. Donald Trump is a lifelong Democrat. He's never repudiated those principles. And all you need to do is look at the 4 years that he was president the first time. Everything he did was in line with democratic principles.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. Look, on the topic of women, though, because we've talked about what he was just talking about to death, but on the topic of women, when women vote, they vote more emotionally. When women are in politics, show me somebody that's really let out and actually done the right thing by the people of America, by the founding fathers. You're not going to find hardly anybody. There's very few women. Are women capable? Yes. Are they smart? Yes. I'm not putting down women. I'm just saying that in this arena, have you ever seen somebody in America lead out? We've had horrible queens in the Dark Ages. We've had diabolical queens in the Dark Ages. We've had lots of examples of women at the helm. You could probably pick out maybe one or two or three along history that have actually tried to have a backbone and stand up for things. But I don't know. That I'm looking at it like we are focused on the novelty, and that's it. It just, and we don't need identity politics. You don't have to have a woman in the White House to feel like you can accomplish something. It's a ridiculous notion.
Well, I will say this. You could not have had transgender officers high up in the military until you first had high-ranking women in the military. Yeah. You had as same thing with voting, right? I mean, 1990, the vote was given, right? In the late teens, and what happened immediately? Votes turned into much more emotional affairs. Yes. Voting for protection and for somebody to look after us and for all that stuff. And so it's just the way it is. Yeah. I mean, this is the world we live in. We're not going to change that back. But what it projects is weakness at the end of the day, and what you're going to get from Kamala Harris is extended weakness. Biden was extremely weak, in large part, especially because he was mentally compromised. But she, in her own way, she's as weak or weaker than a senile Joe Biden. I mean, I think everything about her will be weaker and softer, especially on the global stage.
Yeah, and don't believe the AI crowds. Oh my gosh, her own party didn't even want her. They wouldn't even give her 1% of the vote. She never even got one electoral college vote. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Or delegate vote. It's just ridiculous to think that they're going to remarket her to us. But we got to get off the novelty kick, and we have to start going, okay, does a person know the job, or do they know the Constitution? That's the most important question to ask. And we have gotten off of that a long, long time ago. And I know women will be offended at my comments, but really look in history and show me examples of where that worked out well for us. And I'm telling you, you're not going to hardly find a thing. And that's a sad state of affairs, yes, but I think we're built differently. It's not like the men have done a good job either. So both, right? We're losing our country because of both. But to think that a woman could set it right and do something important is ridiculous. And
just
also
ask yourself this question, and
20,
try to
10
be
seconds,
honest.
10 seconds.
Would you rather have a male nurse and a female surgeon?
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Be faithful, be fearless. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Michael, Jan, and of course, Mel tomorrow. Bye, you guys.
Walker Plumbing.